Footsteps echo against concrete. Harsh fluorescent lights buzz above. A woman in a sleek, dark suit walks down a concrete hallway, a sealed black dossier clutched in her gloved hands. She stops at a reinforced door marked DARPA Access, Sigma Black Clearance Required. The door hisses open. Dr. Eliora Gray, 30s, sharp eyes, unassuming, sits at a metal table. She's composed, but there's tension in her jaw. A plain envelope sits in front of her, unopened. The woman in gray slides the black dossier across the table and takes a seat. Across from her, another woman, gray suit, not a hair out of place. Her actions are almost robotic-like. Dr. Gray, we've reviewed your neural compatibility results. You've been selected for reassignment, effective immediately. Eliora hesitates, picks up the envelope. No return address. Inside, a one-way plane ticket, coordinates, a simple line of typed text. You are being transferred to Site 13. Do not speak of this assignment. Comply absolutely. What is Site 13? You're about to forget asking that. Eliora nods her head. Whipping winds, rain lashes the windows of the black, unmarked helicopter. Eliora sits opposite two armed guards who haven't said a word the entire ride. She looks out at the black ocean. In the distance, a thin island looms, barely visible. Her radio headset crackles. A distorted voice comes through. Approaching containment threshold. Eyes open. Mind sealed. One of the guards looks at her. Not menacing, almost pitying. A hulking facility juts out of jagged cliffs, surrounded by crashing waves and fog. It looks abandoned, but floodlights line the path ahead. Waiting is Major Rourke, early 50s, grizzled, exacting, military posture. The door opens and the guards gesture for her to head out. Eliora shields her head from the helicopter's draft and the rain coming down. She quickly paces the space and stands in front of the waiting Major. Dr. Gray, welcome to the end of the world, he said, with a solemn expression. A brief moment of vertigo hits her. The horizon seems to stutter. She blinks. It's fine now. He gestures towards a metal door at the edge of the landing pad. After they take a few more steps, the helicopter takes off, disappearing into the night. She now noticed that it had been running without the usual navigation lights on the outside of the machine. She doesn't get long to ponder as her thoughts are interrupted by the Major. Doctor, please, this way. Let's get out of this mess. With this, they quicken their pace to the metal door. Rourke walks her through sterile, windowless halls, cameras in every corner. The place hums with unseen power. Site 13 houses Project 13. You were chosen for your work on consciousness mapping. What we're doing here, it goes beyond simulation, beyond interface. Beyond DARPA? DARPA is the entryway. We're the basement. She frowns. Every door they pass has no markings, just numeric locks. One is ajar. Inside, A man stares at a blank wall, unmoving. A tech gently closes the door. Was that a test subject? No, that was Dr. Bell. You'll be using his office, Rourke says, not stopping his brisk pace through the hallways. I see. This is his office. Why don't you take some time to familiarize yourself with the space and files? With that, he turns and leaves. Eliora enters the room. The office is pristine, too pristine. Not a trace of personal items, no photos, no notes, just a computer with no internet and a drawer containing only one item. A handwritten note on yellow paper. Do not trust it when it looks like you. She looks around. Suddenly, the fluorescent lights buzz louder. She glances at her reflection in the computer screen. Her reflection is smiling, but she isn't. She snaps her head back. Nothing. The reflection is now accurate. Her breathing quickens. A soft knock. She jumps, then jumps again as a younger man in a military uniforms knocks on the open door. Sorry, ma'am. Didn't mean to startle you. The major asked me to take you to Dr. Han. Please follow me. A wide, glass-paneled room. She meets Dr. Jin Han, 40s, overworked hair wild, barely holding it together. He gestures to the other side of the glass. Inside, a medical bed. Wires running to a large egg-shaped machine pulsing with blue light. On the bed lies a man, subject 13, mid-30s, unconscious, features slack but peaceful. Subject 13 has been under for 64 days, still dreaming, still transmitting. Transmitting what? She asks. The signal. The one we didn't invent, the one we heard in our sleep. Eliora looks at subject 13. He shifts, just slightly. His lips twitch, and she swears she hears, feels her name. Just a whisper. Eliora. She flinches. Did you hear that? Dr. Han asked. No. Did you? No, Han says, smiling faintly. He walks away. She watches subject 13 a moment longer. He locks eyes with her as if sizing her up. You must be tired. I bet you've been traveling most of the day and now, well, all this. Why don't we call it a night and you can sink your teeth into it all fresh tomorrow? Thanks. Yeah. Think that is best. I am pretty worn out. With that, another young military guard escorts her to the personal rooms wing of the facility. Spartan. One bed, one light, no windows. The kind of room meant for containment, not comfort. She lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. The hum of the facility is louder now, more alive. A sudden bang from the hallway, then silence. She gets up, opens the door. Nothing there. The hallway is perfectly quiet. She turns to go back inside and freezes. The lights flicker. Her reflection in the polished door window, it's there again, smiling, but now its eyes are bleeding. A small group of top personnel gathered around a central holographic projection. A neural map pulses with light like a city grid seen from above. Dr. Han stands at the head of the table, pacing. On screen, a looping video of two subjects in adjacent pods, synced via the thalamus array. This is the first successful conscious link. 3.2 seconds of mutual cross-identification, dreams, memories, smells, even phantom injuries. He announces to the group. Major Rourke interrupts, and then Private Shelby bit off his own tongue. A beat. Han lowers the hologram. Residual signal leakage. We're refining the filters. He looks at Eliora while saying this. That's why you're here. We need your precision. Your mapping software is the cleanest we've seen. We want you to patch the interference so we can scale up. Link full groups. Groups? She asks. Major Rourke steps closer to the table. Imagine a platoon that shares one mind. No chatter, no hesitation, just intent. Her expression darkens slightly. Eliora stands in the viewing chamber as two soldiers are placed into the massive egg-shaped neural pods. Sleek, biometric surfaces pulse with soft blue light. The machine hums to life. Dr. Han, eyes glued to a computer screen with vitals showing, link beginning, neural resonance approaching sync threshold. The two men inside begin breathing in unison. Suddenly, Soldier number 1, softly, in awe, I see my mother. She's crying. But not for me. Soldier number 2 whispers, something else is looking. We're not alone. The heartbeat monitor spikes. Soldier number 2, terrified, who the hell is that? The second soldier convulses. Blood sprays from his nose. The pods immediately go dark. The convulsing soldier is wheeled out. He's unconscious but mouthing words silently. His eyes twitch under his lids. Eliora stares. Shaken, Rourke places a hand on her shoulder. The Major. This is the edge of progress, Doctor. That edge cuts both ways. She watches frame by frame footage of the failed link. One frame stands out. For a single second, a third person appears in the pod between the soldiers, unregistered, human-shaped, but face blurred and moving, like it can't decide what to be. She rewinds, pauses. It's gone. She checks system logs. Nothing. The screen glitches. For one frame, her own face flickers on screen, staring back from inside the pod. She backs away from the monitor, visibly disturbed. Okay, that is enough for today. She exhales and pinches the bridge of her nose as if that was the cause. The mess hall the following day, concrete floors, walls, ceiling, metal tables and chairs, no windows. The chow line is metal as well, with silver metal trays to put your food on. Everything in this room is gray or silver. It's rather off-putting. Of course, other than the splashes of color from the cloths people wear and the food on the trays. The mess hall is quiet even though there were over a dozen people in it. In fact, only 2 people were eating, and the rest just sitting quietly, pushing their food around slowly with a fork. Eliora sits across from a young tech, Jason, twitchy and exhausted. He stirs his food in circles. Do you dream, Dr. Gray? Sometimes. He looks up from his food and looks her in the eyes. Don't let the machine read your dreams. That's when they find you. They? Jason leans in, whispering fast. The echoes. They don't speak. They mimic. The link's a two-way street, right? We reach out. They reach back. Suddenly, Jason looks past her, Wait, weren't you just... She turns. No one's there. When she turns back, Jason is gone. His food is still steaming. She spins around again in her seat, but he is just gone. How? There is only one door to this room. Once again, the quietness of the room hits her. Only the hum of appliances in the cooking area, fluorescent lights, and the slight clatter of cutlery moving food on metal trays. Then she hears it, something just above the room's background noise, a strange noise, building, growing louder ever so slowly. She cannot place the noise, and it grabs her attention. She gets up and follows the sound out of the room. Eliora follows a strange whirring sound through the maintenance level. The walls are moist with condensation. It's warmer here, almost organic feeling. She hears whispering, multiple voices, her name, but soft, like it's coming through water. Then, a distant scream. She runs toward it. She finds a hallway she's never seen, curved, smooth, different material, no doors. Just a slight vibration in the air. She hears a quiet laugh. Her own voice just behind her. Don't go any further. She spins around. Nothing. She turns around again, looks back and forth down either end of the hallway. Or is this a tunnel? She thought. No one was in sight. She backtraces her steps from the direction she came, her instincts telling her not to go the way she was headed towards originally. Eliora returns to the array chamber. She's alone, off hours. The lights are low. One pod is open, the others powered down. The hum of the machine is barely audible, but she hears a soft, rhythmic pulse, like a heartbeat. She approaches the open pod, runs her fingers along the edge. It feels warm. Suddenly, she's overwhelmed by a surge of nausea and static in her ears. She stumbles, catches herself on the console. The monitor blinks to life, camera feed showing the empty pod. But now, she's inside it, frozen, staring directly into the lens. The camera. Eliora lifts a hand and waves. Real Eliora backs away. The feed blinks off. Eliora wakes up, gasping, cold sweat, no memory of falling asleep. The clock says 3:13 a.m. A faint voice from the intercom. "Dr. Gray, we're ready for you now." But it's not Han. It's not Rourke. It's her own voice. She looks down. Her arms are hooked to IV lines, but she never put them there. She rips them out. From the mirror across the room, her reflection is still lying in bed, watching her. She feels like she has not had a full night's sleep in a week. The sleep deprivation is getting to her, she tells herself, trying to explain what she is feeling and seeing. Startled from thought, her alarm goes off, 8 a.m. Although, being underground who is, say, that was really the time. She gets up and gets ready for another day of work. Eliora enters, pale and exhausted, to find a skeleton crew gathered around the primary monitor wall. Dozens of screens are frozen with static and corrupted video feeds. Others show blank hallways slowly filling with shadow, like water rising. Dr. Han is speaking in fragmented sentences to himself, flipping through handwritten notes with shaking hands. "What happened?" she asks with a half yawn. Rourke takes a few steps forward towards the duo. "We lost remote feeds at 0300. Then the power grid rerouted itself." He motions to a screen. It shows a top-down facility map, but the layout is wrong. Extra corridors, an entire wing labeled unknown in flashing red. We don't have a West Annex, do we? He asks the room. Everyone stares in silence. Eliora walks the corridor alone, following a map printed hours ago. The lights flicker. She passes a doorway she doesn't recognize. Label Observation B. The door wasn't there yesterday. Inside, a single metal chair facing a wall of monitors, all off. On the seat, a recording device and a note with her name on it. She presses play. Once again, it's her voice coming from the recorder. If you're hearing this, it means you're in the third iteration. Don't panic. Yet. The others didn't make it this far. A pause. Breathing. Something's nested in the array. It's not transmitting, it's digesting. We never created the interface, we just turned it back on. Eliora drops the recorder, breathing hard. Behind her on the monitor screens, a dozen versions of herself appear, all seated, all staring directly at her. The screens cut to black. She pushes deeper into the older levels, places left off the map. Rusting pipes, water dripping, walls slick with algae. She finds an old vault door labeled Thalamus IN side. Subject 13 still comatose, but the equipment is old, cobbled together with analog monitors and tape reels. This is not a new project. This has been running for decades. She finds a dusty reel recorder and plays back the last tape. A voice comes on, not hers for once. He keeps speaking to her. The one not here, the woman, the anomaly. A beat. He says she's inside already, that she never left. Eliora slowly turns to Subject 13. He's awake. Subject 13, who is eerily calm. I've been watching you watch yourself. His mouth moves, but his eyes are wrong, too wide, and they don't blink. You've been very interesting. Suddenly, his body flickers, like a corrupted video file, and disappears. The pod is now empty. She is staring at the empty pod. Is this real? Am I dreaming? Am I awake? Her mind races through dozens of things to ask herself. Then suddenly, breaking her train of thought, sirens blare, a red emergency light spins. The intercom squawks to life. Dozens of voices layered over each other, screaming, chanting, whispering. The words come into focus. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. In the control room. Technicians panic. One smashes his monitor with a keyboard, screaming about something crawling inside his skin. Eliora stumbles in. She's bleeding from the nose but doesn't notice. She sees Rourke at the controls. Calm. Too calm. We need to shut it down. Major Rourke sitting at a control station. You already did. Last cycle. Remember? What? You're not in the first loop. And you won't be the last. He stares at her like a stranger. You ever wonder why you always make it to Act 3? He pulls a pistol, raises it to his head, and bang! Blood on the wall. Except it isn't blood. It's static, writhing across the surface like TV snow. And he's gone. Vanished like a blip in a dream. Moments later, Eliora collapses on her bed. She's crying, shaking, talking to herself. She opens the drawer. Inside, another note, different handwriting. You're not Eliora Gray, not this time. You're the ghost in her place. She screams and throws the drawer across the room. The mirror cracks. In the fractured glass, 5 reflections look back, each with slight differences. One of them mouths the words, "It's almost time." She races towards the shards and kicks them, spreads them out until they are all face down. The alarms are still going off. The red attention lights are still on. She sits in the middle of her room, on the floor, sobbing, trying to get her mind to work. What's the solution here? Work the problem, come on. She returns to the array. The pods are now empty, pulsing with life. The machinery hums with a rhythm, like breathing. Dr. Han is there, naked, head shaved, arms cut with strange symbols. He looks at her, calmly. It wants to show you something. He gestures to an open pod. It's the only way forward, Doctor, or back, or wherever this loop goes next. She steps toward it, trembling. Am I already inside? Smiling. You're asking the wrong you. Eliora steps into the open neural pod. The machine seals shut with a hiss of air. Monitors flicker to life. She lies still. The heartbeat monitor sinks. Dr. Han's voice comes through the small speaker, softly, distorted. Try not to resist the transition. The first part is always noise, then understanding. A low-frequency rumble fills her ears. Everything is black. A pulse, like sonar, ripples through the void. She stands now, barefoot, in a landscape made of fragmented memories. Rooms blend together. Her childhood bedroom, the DARPA lab, Site 13's observation deck, a beach at night with a black sea and 2 moons. Voices echo in the distance, every voice from the facility whispering her name over and over. She moves forward. The landscape shifts with each step. Her body flickers. Lab coat, pajamas, blood-soaked uniform. Time and identity deform. She walks past a row of crying children wearing her face, a version of herself with no eyes, sitting in the grass, whispering to a static-filled radio. Subject 13, now a child, now an old man, now a shadow that never casts light. A massive black tower juts out of the dream horizon. It hums with the same frequency as the thalamus array. Her name is carved all over the stone in different languages, some ancient, some not human. She ascends a spiral staircase that folds inward. At the top, she finds herself, sitting on a throne made of tangled wires and bone. Welcome back. What is this place? This is the part of you that was meant to remember. Remember what? The throne pulses with light. They didn't make the array, Eliora. They just polished the edges. It's a receiver, not a transmitter. And we are the signal. We are all one idea, echoed through flesh, but something else has heard us now, and it's trying to speak back. Suddenly, the walls peel away. She floats in empty space. Below her, thousands of pods, stretching into infinity. each holding a version of herself. Some dead, some sleeping, some staring back. Above her, a vast, shifting entity of light and shadow pulses, shapeless, thoughtless, curious. It reaches toward her with no body, just pattern, and when it touches her voice, but more than her voice several, many times over, overlapping. You were never 1, you were always 13. Her memories fracture, working at DARPA, being recruited, the first transfer, watching herself die again and again, in different loops, different bodies, being born from the machine, not into it. A sterile room, blinding white. She's sitting in a chair. Across from her sits Major Rourke, calm, clean uniform, smiling kindly. You've done very well. Most don't make it to realization. Am I still human? He leans forward towards her. You were always more than that, and less. We needed a vessel that could house pattern recursive feedback loops. Your mind was perfect. So what happens now? Now you choose. He stands, gestures to 2 doors that weren't there before. You can forget, return to the loop, help us refine the signal, or he nods toward the second door. You step outside, into the source. You won't come back, not as you. Eliora doesn't hesitate. She immediately starts walking forward, towards the second door. She opens the second door. Inside, a single pod, humming. It's her original body, empty. She steps in, lays down. The pod closes. Darkness. Her eyes open. She gasps, screams. The chamber is ruined. Walls blackened, monitors sparking, no one else in sight. Dust fills the air, sirens wail, but she's alone. She stumbles out of the pod, finds a mirror. Her reflection stares back, but it's smiling, and it whispers, "You chose the right door." Then black, but reassuring black, the darkness you have when your eyes are closed from sleep. She sits up and opens her eyes from her bed. Alarms still blink, but no sound comes out. Time feels suspended. She moves past, empty labs, papers still fluttering in frozen air, a shattered observation deck with no ocean outside, only a void of swirling blue light. Dr. Hahn's office, its interior burned, a single phrase carved into the glass. You are the 13th iteration. The core of the thalamus array is still intact, humming. But now the pulses feel calmer, slower, like a heartbeat instead of static. Eliora approaches the control panel. The screen reads, "Loop disrupted, signal translated, ready for extraction." There's a flashing button, initiate self. She hesitates, touches it. She's standing on a rocky cliff. The ocean is real again. The salt air hits her sense of smell. Waves crash below her. Behind her, Site 13 is gone, like it was never there. Only a faint, shimmering distortion where the building once stood. She turns to find a child standing at the tree line. It's the boy from the dream, Subject 13, but now he looks normal, healthy, free. "You did it," he says softly. "What did I do?" "You gave it a shape. Now it can sleep again, for a while." He smiles, begins to walk away. But you know it never ends. We're just the beginning of the next loop. He vanishes between the trees. Weeks later, Eliora sits quietly with a carry-on bag. She's at a busy international airport terminal. She's watching planes come and go. She looks different, healthier. A small scar on her temple, but her eyes are clear. She pulls out a small encrypted hard drive and a folded note. If you're reading this, you made it out, but you'll start dreaming again soon. When you do, follow the red lights. R. Over the intercom. Now boarding for Reykjavik, gate 13. She smiles faintly, grabs her bag, walks toward the gate. As she boards the plane, we glimpse a figure watching her from a distance, dressed in a dark overcoat, face obscured. They speak into a hidden mic. We've got another echo, patterns intact. Project 13, terminated. Project 14, pending. And that was Project 13. In the end, Eliora might have escaped the loop, but some echoes never really stop, do they? If this story kept you on edge, made you question what's real, then I hope you'll consider supporting this channel. A like, a comment, even a subscribe. It all goes a long way in helping me bring you more dark tales from the shadows of science, secrecy, and the supernatural. What do you think really happened at Site 13? Did Eliora break free or just enter the next phase? Drop your theories in the comments. I read every one. Until next time, keep your eyes open. Some signals are never meant to be heard.